Hi,
from?
I'm Terry. I'm from North Battleford. I got started drinking at a young age, probably age 10, 11. And then I started smoking weed at 12, I remember. I got high with my sister, and then kept drinking. My father was an alcoholic, and I seen a bunch of violence growing up. And once I become a man, I kind of like, a young man anyways, I was kind of was like my father, woman abuser, and drinking, drunk, fighting all the time. And and that eventually, I went through 2 different families I lost. I had two different, well, a common law wife and a wife with children I lost because of my drinking. And it just escalated, and then I eventually turned to hardcore drugs like needles and crack and coke and pills. But the reason why my oldest daughter, she would have been 30 today, she passed. She got sick when she was 17. No, she got sick when she was like probably 13. And then it went in remission, and then when it come back, it really hit me hard because she told me that she was gonna pass. So I couldn't handle that, so I needed something to numb the pain, and I started smoking crack, and lots of it. Like after a while, lots of it. And then I started smoking crack so much. I had a job at the time, but I eventually lost my job because I'd be up all night smoking crack and couldn't make it. So I started to sell crack, and I sold crack, and my habit grew to a quarter to even a half sometimes, smoking crack, cooking it up raw. And that happened for close to 2 years, I guess. Yeah, 2 years. I probably only missed in 2 years, maybe 15 days I didn't have crack. But eventually I got busted. I got 5 years. Went to the penitentiary, and when I was going up to court, I was like, oh, this is what I'd always do. I'd pray to God, please get me out of this, and I'll change my life around. Or I'd say I'd try to change my life around. And so I did that. That didn't work. I ended up at the penitentiary, and then I kind of thought I wouldn't change because I didn't want to change when I first got there. But anyways, I did my time till my stat release, and then I got out. I wasn't even out 8 months, and I picked up 3 years. So with that, I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be my life, in and out of prison, and maybe get killed or kill someone. So I really, that's when I went this one time. Well, this one guy died in the jail there. I told my wife about this, and I thought, because we were locked down, I thought, what a lonely place to die in. So I started reading the Bible, and I just went to my knees, and I just cried, and I just said, help me. And since then, and then in the morning when I woke up, I felt like a new person. I don't know, you might have heard people say that before, but I felt like a different person. And I was still in prison, and I still had to do my 3 years, and because it probably wasn't even the first 6 months. After that, I started going to church. I met a Catholic priest. His name was Father Nick, and I would see him every week at church, and then I would see him maybe 2-3 times a week while I was working in the prison. I'd go up to the chapel, go see him. that was kind of like my mentor, but really God is my mentor. And I got out after that. I did my whole time again because they would never let me out on parole. And I got out and I just stayed sober. I went to AAs and I stayed sober, and then from there I met a beautiful girl that's my wife today. And yeah, we got married after 2 years, a little over 2 years, and then we got a son now. His name's Terry Jr., and I got a daughter on the way, and my wife is very supportive of me. I don't think I would be remaining. I know I wouldn't be sober today if it wasn't for her. She's a big support of mine, and but since I quit all that, life is great. Like, I bought a house, bought vehicles. Like I said, life is good, and yeah, that's my story, I guess, in a nutshell.
What about, do you still hang around with people you still used to party with?
Oh yeah, I don't turn my away from them. Like, they're still crackheads, drug addicts, and yeah, I still talk to them in the studio. I still have friends on social media, and I still go to family functions that there is drinking and sometimes, well, drugs. Like my wedding, there's drinking and drugs. But okay, that's some of it's my family, friends. I'm not gonna, just because I quit, I try to actually help them, but we still like hang out sometimes.
29 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of home, or a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that this world was made up of this brotherhood of home. And I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out that's in my head. Feeling a little peculiar.
My name's Karen Flamont. I'm Terry's wife. We just celebrated our 2nd year anniversary, but we have been together for 4. I was a Pelche before as my maiden name. I met Terry the spring of 2013, and this was roughly about 6 months after he had just got out of prison from doing 3 years and for aggravated assault. And we met at a Tim Hortons and kind of just hooked up on Facebook from there. And we, I didn't really even meet, like, I met him just at a quick meeting, and he asked my name, and that's when we decided to just kind of like meet up on, like, friend each other on Facebook. And then we started talking that way, and then started talking on the phone, and we didn't meet for about 6 weeks. We just talked and got to know one another, I guess, as much as we could over social media and our phone conversations. And my initial impression of Terry is somebody who was hard. Not just hard-hearted, but hard mind, everything. Like, just the life he had lived had taken him to this place where he wasn't ever going to be broken, I guess you could say. And he was very overwhelming. His attitude and I kind of say he was like 2 different people, because he was this wonderful, great man that wanted so badly to heal from his past and from his addictions. It was kind of like he wasn't too sure how to do that, and he was just, out, fresh out of prison, fresh out of changing his life around, and just was unsure on how to live life substance free. So, I mean, in the 6 months that I had met him, he hadn't touched any sort of drug or alcohol. So when we first met, we just started like hanging out, and we decided that we wanted to, we were going to keep things light for a while and just, date, but not with really high expectations. We both wanted to take our time. We knew that we were really different, and we knew that we didn't want to put too much on the line if we decided that we were just gonna, maybe this isn't gonna work. So we hit about 6 months, and we took a vacation to Mexico. It was his first time and my first time out of the country. Actually, we seen the ocean for the first time together. And it was our second day, and I was a social drinker, and he always said it didn't bother him because he wasn't one to, tell people, well, you can't be with me or be my friend or be around me just because you drink and I don't. He was never like that. He would say, I just don't agree with drinking for me, but for you, it's up to you. So we went to Mexico, and I was, enjoying the drinks that they would have there for us at the resort. Drinks. Yeah, the unlimited beverages. And it was our second day there in Mexico, and we went to a flea market, and everywhere you looked, there was just coolers and coolers of just Corona and every drink you could imagine. And he said it looked so good because it was so hot, and the bottles were just dripping with humidity. And he said so he kind of stopped, and he looked at me, and he goes, one wouldn't hurt, hey? And I had been with him 6 months. I had heard stories. I had heard from his mouth and his family and friends. Some of them would even say, if Terry even has one beer, don't even say goodbye, just walk away. So I had heard, and I kind of told myself, I said, okay, you know what, am I going to be the downfall of this man? Well, not me, but, or am I going to support him? And I said, I'm going to support him. And I looked at him and I said, does it bother you that I'm drinking? And he said, I thought it didn't, but it does. It is right now. It's hard. And I said, okay. And I had a drink in my hand, and I put it down right where I was. And I said, I'm done. I won't drink. If you are getting tempted and you need support, I'm not going to drink. So our very first vacation out of the country was a sober one. We actually took in an AA meeting in Mexico. So that was a pivotal moment, I would say, in our relationship, because I knew that I had to support him. Well, not had to, but I knew that if I wasn't willing to, support him during his weak moments, then I should just go, because his life is very precious and very valuable, and it was almost destroyed by drugs and alcohol many times, and I wasn't going to be a part of it if, it had happened again. So we got back, and that's when we decided, okay, we want to go further with our relationship. I moved to North Battleford. We lived here for a few months together. That's where we found out we were expecting our first child, our little boy TJ, who's now 2.5. So we were together for about 10 months, and then we got pregnant with our first son, and we decided that we wanted to relocate. So we went back to where I'm from, which is Prince Albert. So we got our place. We had an apartment while we were saving up to buy a house, and we when I got pregnant with TJ, I think I was about 6-7 months, and he asked me to marry him. I said no. I'm just kidding. I said yeah. Yes, I would. And we got married when TJ was 7 months. When I had TJ, it was a very life-changing moment for both of us. Every bit of it, and then some. an amazing father, wonderful, wonderful dad, and very supportive husband. I was in the hospital just after having TJ, and that's when he brought me the papers that he had signed and bought us a house. And he just said, "Here you go. This is for you. This is for us." And I said, you know, I was speechless. It was amazing. I knew we were getting the house, but I mean, he did it at such a time that he knew that he wanted to leave the hospital with our son in our hands, and him providing that for us. He's very big that way, like being that man's man, that man who always has to support his family, always has to work hard, always has to give his kids and his wife everything that a man should, you know, very old school. He's so supportive of me. Whatever I want to do, like I'm going back to school and I hope to become a law student next year after I finish my justice, and he's 100% supportive of me. He knows, like, being a student, you know, finances aren't going to be the greatest and everything like that, but he always said, just do what you got to do, and, you know, I'm here and we'll figure it out, and we do. You know, we're a team, and we're having a daughter, so that's such a beautiful end to our family, and we're very excited to welcome her into our home, into our life. She's just going to enrich it so much, just like how our little boy did.
Say hi, my name's TJ. And this is the prize what I got for being sober and turning my life around. My beautiful son, Terry Jr. Yep.
So what do you say to people that come to you, like a friend or a stranger or somebody that's really struggling, and they say, "Hey Terry, how did you make it out?" Or
I just say you gotta pray. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. I couldn't have did it without God's help. And I always say that you gotta have faith. You gotta pray, and things don't come easy. Like, you just can't pray and then don't put no work into it. You got to do your part. You got to pray. You got to do your part. And then the more faith you have, and I start praying for people. I learned how to pray for people. The more people I prayed for, the stronger I got. So that's what I do. Even to this day I do. I still pray.
Thank you.